We're back.
Yes. Is this before Honey, We Shrunk the Kids?
Looks like it. Yes.
Alright, we should fix the camera before that ever happens,
Yes.
so we don't have to watch the Ant-Man movie to fix it.
Alright, let's do it.
They're back! It's Wizard D Titanator!
Well, it's going to take a while until our ride sends us back to the future, so why don't we watch Back to the Future? Or how about let's talk about it since we already did watch it.
Yes. Talk about the trilogy.
The entire trilogy that we've seen over the course of the times we get to watch it. So Back to the Future, the trilogy. This is the 30th anniversary, and this is actually your copy on Blu-ray, which has a lot of stuff that we did not check out because we don't got time for that.
It's true.
So,
We watched the main course, we watched the 3 films.
although it does come with the digital HD movies of it, which is kind of cool. Well, I got it, so thanks a lot for that.
You're welcome.
So the movie. So when was the last time we watched the
First one?
Yeah, when did we watch that first one? It was like last year or something.
It
right?
was.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
We watched it probably maybe July of last year or so, or maybe
It was before the Back to the Future movie played in theaters.
yeah.
So before October.
Yeah, it was definitely before.
We can
October.
definitely confirm that part.
I think it
So
was July or August. Yeah, something like that.
yeah, so I forget. How did we get to being like, oh, hey, let's watch Back to the Future? Is it because I was like, hey, I've never seen it, and everyone keeps talking about how great it was?
Yeah.
Or was it because it was back then? It was 2015, and it was like, oh, hey.
Yeah, we were trying to do like the 30-year anniversary as well. Yeah, that made sense. 1985, 2015, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably something like
Yeah.
that. So what did you think of the movie? I know you told me you watched the third one, but the first two was like, I forget about that part.
Well, the first movie was actually the first movie I ever saw in the theater, but it was a drive-through theater back in 1985. My parents took me. I don't really remember much about it, but it was kind of cool that was actually the first film I saw. And I mean I like it. I like the fact that it's going into different times, and it's I think it's a timeless movie in a way. It's aged well, I would say. What would you say?
Well, was that a pun there? It aged well.
Yes.
So the time-related thing. Well, this trilogy, I gotta say, as you can't think of like the individual Back to the Future movies as its own movies, because it's just not. It doesn't work without the other parts of the movie. It's like a piece of the puzzle.
Does that mean it's a time continuum?
It could be, but jeez, I'm pressed up against this for time. But yeah, the Back to the Future trilogy. Saw the first one, and I told you about it. I was like, I didn't. It was okay, but I wasn't blown away by it. I was well, obviously, but I wasn't too impressed with it. I was like, oh, this movie is okay.
And then second one?
But as time went on,
Yeah.
I liked the second one. But I'm not sure if it's because I liked the second movie as
its
by
own.
itself, or it's because I watched the first one and it kind of connects all these like threads and
sure.
makes it more interesting. And then we get to the third one, which I have the same feeling about like the second one. Like I like the third movie. I think I liked it the most out of all of it. And people actually don't like the third movie because it was weird.
Yeah, it was different because they're going like 100 years back in time, which is a big stretch, right, in the Western.
Do you think I liked it because it went back 100 years and was
Was more 100?
Yes, this is quite a possibility.
Wow, what coincidence! But no, I actually do like the third one. I was actually kind of dreading the third one. I was like, oh, it's gonna take place in the West. What the hell are they gonna do here? But I liked it. It was kind of more concise than the other movies, I'd say.
Even though it was actually the longest of the 3.
It is the longest, but it didn't feel that
No,
way.
it was-
Like the other two movies, I was just like, the third movie was not as frustrating as the second one, which even though I did like that one, we actually did do a vlog of this, but I was not happy with that, so we
went back in
rewrote
time. Yes.
to rewrite that. You're never gonna see that.
Wow.
But yeah, as a whole, the whole entire trilogy, I like the movie. Like story and the effects are obviously good, with the occasional like reminder of RoboCop 3 jetpack.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I mean, did you like the acting throughout? Did you like some of the? Well, most of the cast did come back, with the exception of Crispin Glover
and
as
Jennifer.
George. Oh yeah, true. Jennifer was replaced by Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, main actors, Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox, and Doc Emmett Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd. Their chemistry is, like, great. Like, I love seeing them on screen, especially in the third one. I don't know why, but I really like the third one. I don't know if it's because I really like the whole Western thing, but honestly, I was really dreading that third movie. But I wanted to see the conclusion of it, because this part 2 teases you with it.
Yeah, it does. Like, it literally shows you a trailer of the third after the end of the second, which is kind of interesting.
And like, we brought something interesting about that. Like, the first movie started, like, it came out in, like, well, what,
85, yeah. Yeah.
1985, and then it took, what, 5 years later for the second movie?
Yeah, that's right. 89, or was it, hold on.
1990?
I think it was 89, and then Back to the Future 3 was 1990, actually. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, so the second movie took X number of years to, like, come out. And then the third movie only took a year to come out. Which means they were both made around the same time-ish.
Back to back.
Back to back, Back to the Future. Okay. It kind of reminds me of, like, Peter Jackson when he filmed Lord of the Rings. He filmed it all in one go, and not have, like, time go by and then all the actors get old or some kind of accident happen.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, I mean, I think it was a good way to end it, definitely, the third one. It wasn't really rehashing much. I mean, it does, like, make fun of certain things of it. I mean, the second one did that too.
Yeah.
Biff making fun of the younger Biff and stuff like that. But
well, and the whole using footage from the first movie, which the way they did it was well done. So I didn't go like, oh, well, that's just cheap reuse footage of it. Which even though they had sometimes did.
They had some stock footage that wasn't used though. Pretty cool.
But yeah, the reason why I say you should watch Back to the movie as a whole is there's that thing we were kind of complaining about with Marty where he's keep getting called chicken. He doesn't learn from this until the third movie, and then it's like, oh,
third time's a charm.
Oh,
is that what they're saying?
That seems to be the thing, but yeah, but that's kind of like what confirmed it for me is that
for sure.
When you watch the trilogy, it's not a trilogy. It's just one whole movie with 3 parts in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking at it as a whole, like I enjoyed it. Yeah. I enjoyed it as a whole.
Yeah, same here, man. I mean, yeah, it's just cool that we got to go into the present and then the past and the future and then the way back in the past. Yeah, I think they did a good job.
It surprisingly worked out.
Yeah. And I think they did their homework too. Like they try to put some historical things into it, and with the mention of I'm trying to remember the book. I think they kind of made fun of the book, right? They gave it its own title, like 200,000. Was it?
Leagues Under the Sea.
It wasn't that wasn't the actual title in the
because it was 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
So they did make fun of certain.
Well, you're trying to bring up like product placement stuff like Nike. What was it? Nintendo with the NES game.
Yeah, Wild Gun. Sorry, not Wild Gun. Sorry.
Yeah, Wild Gun or Gunman.
No, Wild Gunman. That's it.
Gunman. The NES Jaws game. Jaws with Steven Spielberg producing. it.
Yeah, for sure. Michael Jackson moonwalking.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson moonwalker. Pepsi.
Yeah.
There was a lot of quite a bit of product placement in the background.
Yeah. What else was there? There was more. Well, I guess Clint Eastwood being his name.
Of course.
And then Calvin Klein was his first name in the first one, which
because of the underwear product. I was like, oh wow,
good product placement, I guess. Yeah.
In his pants.
Yeah, it is fast. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, are you happy that it ended with the third one, or would you have preferred to see? A remake.
I don't say this a lot, but I don't say this a lot for movies of how they end because sometimes I do kind of wish there was a little bit more. But after all the crazy events that happened in Back to the Future, I'm actually satisfied. Like I'm okay with the characters just being like, time to calm down because after immediately the first movie, something happens. After the second movie, something happens, and it's like these are big events. It's like, oh crap! I think we as the audience like experience Marty's frustration as he goes through all these timelines and stuff.
Yeah, I think they finally realized that, you know what, let's just live our life. It hasn't been written. Let's just do it and see what happens.
And we kind of fixed most of the problems too. Yeah. Cheating. You know what I did. If it was possible, I would have liked to see an experiment. Like if time travel was possible, I would have liked to see me. Starting watching the Back to the Future movies, but the first movie where I watched the first movie, which has already happened, and gave the opinion. I wanted to see what my opinion would have been, or yours, and your opinion. If it's
Okay.
like we started on on like the second movie or the third movie, like we'd have like 3 timelines where it's like, oh, what did you think? Because it's like like I said, after watching it as a whole, like I can appreciate the movie better now. But if I just watched those individual films by itself without
right.
like context from the other movies, would I have thought differently about it? And I can't do that right now because I know it's just like I'm just gonna appreciate it in the end.
I think we did the right thing to do it in order, right?
No, it's fair.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just kind of one of that curious question. Like, what if we didn't watch it in order? Would we have been like, oh, that's kind of weird? And then after watching the movie, like either watching back the previous movies, it's like, oh, okay, I get it now.
I think we would have made connections either way.
Yeah, there's a lot of connections in
Yeah.
in here that they try to keep, and for the most part, it works. So, are you disappointed about the year 2015 in the part 2? Because we lived through 2015.
Yeah, no hoverboards yet. Quite. They do have like that. What's the thing called? The one that Mike Tyson flipped out.
Oh,
Those little.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The thing with the wheel.
Yeah, I forgot what it's
thing walking in. that was
That was kind of a fad, but yeah, it doesn't actually hover like.
Some of the
hoverboard.
stuff it predicted was right,
Yeah.
like widescreen TV and video conference, like with Skype. So some of
Yeah.
it was right, and some of it was not right. Hoverboard, self-lacing shoes.
Or the air drying jacket.
Yeah,
stuff
and
like that.
self-fitting too.
Yeah, self-fitting. But I mean, have we come a long way? I mean, to some extent.
We have, but some of it's not so much because of imagination. Like, hey, we'd all like a hoverboard. Well, I'd probably like fall over on it, but that's kind of about it. Let's see. And the score in the movie is, of course, classic. They always play it. And then there was that.
Alan Sylvester, yeah.
Yeah, the it's just like adventure. It's just like an Adventure Time like music, and then they played it like differently each time.
Yeah,
Or in the West, they played a harmonica
They gave it
version
that
of it,
Western, which was pretty cool.
which
I
was
like
neat.
that.
I like small details like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, what else can we touch on here? I'm trying to think.
Well, we can't. Well, we could. It was like plot. It's like, well, everyone knows about the plot at this point, and if they haven't, they should just go see it, and they should not be surprised by the spoiler of it. We never saw that thing where Christopher Lloyd says something about 2015. That would have been something we could have checked out, but we didn't.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we didn't really watch the extras. Sorry, guys, but
Yep, time is not on our hands.
as for the main content, yeah, we watched all of them and we liked them. Yes.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah.
Stupid question.
Yeah, you know what? As a whole, this probably is one of the better trilogies out there. I would definitely recommend it. Can you think of any other trilogies that were pretty good from start to finish?
I want to say Star Wars.
Yeah, that's fair for sure.
Let's see.
Indiana Jones, maybe.
I never saw Indiana
Okay,
Jones.
so we
obviously.
definitely gotta
That's
watch
another
those
movie.
guys. Yes, we'll be back for those.
But yeah, like I said earlier, repeating a lot of stuff, especially if you watch this movie or watch this vlog again. But yeah, just it's not a trilogy; it's a whole thing. But every other movie, like say Star Wars, that's a trilogy because there's
There's a
Empire
continuity.
Strikes Back and The Return of Jedi are those two movies are together, but like A New Hope was a more
Was
concise
its
movie
own- yeah,
that worked on its own.
on its own. Whereas this one, it would
Everything works together.
to be continued, to be concluded, the end, right? So,
Yeah, and if this movie was like divided, which it is, it's not as good.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely recommend watching Back to the Future, and definitely, if possible, marathon it because you would appreciate it a lot better.
Yes, and do so with friends, right? Because this movie is definitely telling you the importance of friendship. I would say, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
see
yeah, because
Marty and Doc and
their relation.
and the love interests they find, along the way for sure. Those are the main things that are important here. That's what they're trying to point at.
Well, and then did you have any issues with like the movie? Because no movie is perfect. There's gonna be a few things that like would bug me, bug you, bug people.
I think you were mentioning that at times.
In Back to the Future 2 with the almanac.
Yeah, the almanac as well. Or yeah, some of the continuity wasn't making sense. And then you said Tom Wilson, who plays the Biff characters in this film, his accent wasn't like.
Well, at one point, but for the
Consistent at one
most
point.
part, like he is. I actually like if the movie never told me, or the fact that it was like because it's his character's
Yeah.
family line, I wouldn't have really recognized. I still didn't recognize it. He still looks like he was played by someone else.
And you're surprised that he said due to the.
I was like,
during
"You
the
said
West.
that in the West.
That was
Nobody
kind
says
of
that.
that was kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, so as much as I did like Back to the Future 2, the thing that bothered me about there are things that bother me about it, and it's not the 2015 stuff. It's the whole plot with the almanac, where it's like Biff goes back in time, or gets a sports almanac that predicts, not predicts, but is like recorded all like the
All
future
the
sports
scores.
winning. So he uses that to make money. Fine. The thing that kind of bothers me is like when it goes Donald Trump in this world, it's like, you're telling me that almanac is still gonna work? How are the gambling
Yeah.
things still gonna exist? And like when he wins the winnings, he probably caused a butterfly effect that caused like later like winning records to not be the same. So it's like he could win that one time.
But to win it so many times, yeah.
Using the book would be unreliable at that point because he changed the timeline. So it's like he would have gotten rich that one time. So I feel like the plot of number 2, while I liked it, it just like it kind of worked more inconvenience for the movie.
Yeah, it's a bit over the top. And I mean, if he's trying to cover up that he went back in time
Or he got something.
or he got something from the future, I mean, he didn't really do a good job of covering that up. And then he even had to added insult to injury by killing, Marty's father. So yeah, I mean, it just didn't seem realistic that somebody would do that if they got something from the future and they would just like kind of like make it so obvious, right? But I guess Biff's not all there, right? I
Well,
mean,
he's not a bright guy because there's a running joke where he tries to make a clever comeback and someone has to like fix it for
yeah,
him.
that's true. And he couldn't count to 10 either in the
Or
West.
his ancestor
Yeah,
couldn't count to 10.
yeah.
But yeah,
But other than that-
I think like number 2 was the only one that bothered me in terms of a plot. Like 1, I just like, oh, the movie's kind of okay. But yeah, 2 was the only one that bothered me, and we were trying to talk about the whole like that alternate future with Biff Tannen and how it was like, oh shit, hopefully this doesn't turn out to be. Hopefully it's not predicting the Donald Trump thing.
Because there are similarities there. It's quite disturbing. Like,
Eerily, like.
even the hairstyle and yeah, but
But yeah, I think it's time for us to
Wrap it up, yes.
wrap it up and go Back to the Future.
Yes, for a future review, guys, we'll be back. Take it easy.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess we don't need to tell them about the Ant-Man video we did at some point. So let's have to find out about that later.
yeah.
So 1.21 gigawatts, 88 miles per hour.
It's Wizwardy Titanator. It's Wizwardy Titanator. It's Wizwardy Titanator. It's Wizwardy Titanator.
Maybe July of last year or so, or maybe
It was before
Yeah.
the Back to the Future movie played in theaters.
Yeah.
So before October.
Yeah, it was definitely before.
We can
October.
definitely confirm that part.
I think it
So
was July or August. Yeah, something like that.
yeah, so I forget. How did we get to being like, oh, hey, let's watch Back to the Future? Is it because I was like, hey, I've never seen it, and everyone keeps talking about how great it was?
Yeah.
Or was it because it was back then? It was 2015, and it was like, oh, hey.
Yeah, it was. We were trying to do like the 30-year anniversary as well. Yeah, that made sense. 1985, 2015, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably something like
Yeah.
that. So, what did you think of the movie? This trilogy, I gotta say, as you can't think of like the individual Back to the Future movies as its own movies because it's just it doesn't work without the other parts of the movie. It's like a piece of the puzzle.
Does that mean it's a time continuum?
It could be, but jeez, I'm pressed up against this for time. But yeah, the Back to the Future trilogy. Saw the first one, and I told you about it. I was like,
okay.
It was okay, but I wasn't blown away by it. I was well, obviously, but I wasn't too. I know you told me you watched the third one, but the first two was like I forget about that part.
Well, the first movie was actually the first movie I ever saw in the theater, but it was a drive-through theater back in 1985. My parents took me. I don't really remember much about it, but it was kind of cool that was actually the first film I saw, and I mean I like it. I like the fact that it's going into different times, and it's I think it's a timeless movie in a way. It's aged well, I would say. What would you say?
Well, was that a pun there? It aged well.
Yes.
So, a time related thing. Well.
back.
Yes. Is this before Honey, We Shrunk the Kids?
Looks like it. Yes.
All right, we should fix the camera before that ever happens, so
Yes.
we don't have to watch the Ant-Man movie to fix it.
All right, let's do it.
They're back! It's Wizard D. Titanator!
Well, it's going to take a while until our ride sends us back to the future. So why don't we watch Back to the Future? Or how about let's talk about it since we already did watch it.
Yes. Talk about the trilogy.
The entire trilogy that we've seen over the course of the times we get to watch it. So Back to the Future, the trilogy. This is the 30th anniversary, and this is actually your copy on Blu-ray, which
Right.
has a lot of stuff that we did not check out because we don't got time for that.
It's true.
We
So,
watched the main course. We watched the 3 films.
although it does come with the digital HD movies of it, which is kind of cool. Well, I got it, so thanks
Yes,
a lot
got
for
it.
that.
You're welcome.
So the movie. So when was the last time we watched when was
First one?
Yeah, when did we watch that first one? It was like last year or something.
It
right?
was.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
We watched it probably